Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to my shop. In this video, I'm going to show you quickly, hopefully, how I use the Worksharp 3000 for a lot of my different sharpening needs, some of the adaptions and some of the different ways that I do things with it. So stay tuned, I'll show you how to do this and also talk about some other things that are coming up. So stay tuned to the end for some extras. In this clip, I'm going to show you how I sharpen my parting tool. This one's a 1/8 inch by 3/4 inch wide. It's about 6 inches long. And the angles we've got in here, kind of a compound angle, comes to a point. And what I've measured out in another fashion is that the angle I'm setting for is 100 degrees. And I'll show you how I set that up. Now what I've got here on my Worksharp 3000, take this knob off so you can get some better clarity here. I've got this Worksharp 3000 toolbar. Now this toolbar is designed, this diameter of this rod here fits the Tormek tools and accessories. So it works pretty good because this is a Tormek accessory itself. This Worksharp 3000 toolbar kit is no longer available from Darex Industries, who makes all the Worksharp stuff. It was discontinued a few years ago due to lack of demand. You might still find some of these on the internet somewhere. They used to sell for about 60 bucks, but I've seen some prices up to about $300. Some woodcraft stores around the country may still have one of these in their back room somewhere or something like that. So you might hunt for that at Woodcraft. Anyways, I'm using this kind of like a table here. And this is a Tormek SVD-110. And what I did is when I get a new chisel in, I try to check out what the angles of the edge is and so forth. Make note of it for future use when I need to sharpen my tools. So what I did on this was kind of loosen up this knob here, and I set this on here until I get good flat against the sanding desk here and on this table, and then hold it there firmly. Tighten down the knob in the back side here to lock that in place. So now got a good lock in angle. What I did is I would take this measuring tool for angles. If you use other kinds of tools for measuring angles on this, you're going to come up with something around 30 degrees. What this gives is a 100-degree angle between this edge here and this slope here on that. Exactly how the math comes out, I don't know. All I know is how I want to set up this table each time when I go to sharpen that. So what I did is I took one of these familiar tools, placed it flat on the sanding disc and brought it up to the table, and then adjusted it so everything is flat, and then I could measure what my angle is on this. And this comes up at 100 degrees. Any other tool that you measure with, you're going to come up with something different than this. So for this purpose, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to set it up so I can get a consistent result every time. Now I'm going to adjust this a little bit here to make this a 100-degree perfect, because my edge on this is off a bit because it needs sharpening. So what I had done before here wasn't quite perfectly on. Now, what I'm going to do, put my knob in here, tighten that down, and one of the first things I'm going to do is flatten the sides on this, much like you do the back side of planes and chisels. Flatten the back sides. So I will do that. So I've got a good, consistent scratch pattern or whatever on here that it looks good. Next, I'm going to put this on this table and put this down to the edge of the sharpening paper, sandpaper, and sharpen the edges on that. Now this rotates in a counterclockwise direction, so it's going to be spinning around this way, and I don't want my cutting tip going into the sandpaper because that could tear out my sharpening sandpaper. So I'm going to do it over on this side, whereas the sharpener will be going away from my cutting tip and won't tear up my sandpaper. But it's a little bit difficult to see behind this knob from this camera. Perhaps this other camera will get a better angle at it. So I will sharpen these edges, just holding it consistently on this table. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to do this. Let the tool do the work itself. You know, just keep it flat on there. Keep going back and forth like that until you get a really sharp point on there. Now what I'll do is, this was a 120 grit paper here. I'll keep changing this out and keep sharpening this until I get up to about a 1000 grit, and that's going to be about the limit I go to. Okay, here I'm going to talk about sharpening roughing gouges and bowl gouges. I've got a few different types. I've got a 1-inch roughing gouge here, which is obviously for getting objects to a round cylindrical shape pretty quickly. And then once I've got it to a good shape, then I'll do further work with bowl gouges or other kinds of lathe chisels too. This is a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, and then also got a 3/8 inch bowl gouge too. And the way I sharpen these is going to be on here with a slotted sanding disc, and I'll be sharpening them by sticking this on the back side here underneath and shaping it and sharpening it, and I can see through the slotted wheel to see how I'm doing. And what I'll do is I'll put a black Sharpie mark around this edge so that I can see as I'm sharpening it. As I remove that black Sharpie mark, I know I'm getting that part sharp. So that's what I'll do. I'll show you how I do this roughing gouge, just that, and the other two are going to be the same process, so I don't need to repeat that. And I'll move on here and reposition my cameras so you can get a good view of what I'm seeing. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do here quickly is to change out this disc to put in this slotted sanding disc. So I'll just take off the knob, take off this sanding disc and set it aside. This one goes on like this, so it's upside down, the sandpaper's facing down. And it fits right on there. Then the knob holds it in place, and then we'll be able to see how this works. Alright, so here I'm going to put a Sharpie marker onto the edge of this bowl gouge here that I'm going to sharpen, so I can see as I remove the black at getting the sharpening done. Got that. I will turn this on, the wheel will spin, and we can see through the slotted disc, and then I'll maneuver this accordingly underneath here to sharpen it. I'm getting it fairly good there. A few more spots to get. I think we got it pretty good there. It's feeling really good and sharp. Next up, I'll put on another grit here to like the 400 and fine tune this a little bit. Then what I'll do is go over lightly with some sandpaper here to take the burr off of this. Something else that'll be coming up soon in another video in the near future is I'm going to show how to attach a Tormac work bar on the back side of this so you can use it as a work bar, because we can't get this replacement anymore. So I'll show you how we can set up a Tormac toolbar on here for various sharpening needs. So future video, so stay tuned and be sure to subscribe so you'll know when I come out with that. Okay, so this is basically how I've been sharpening my lathe chisels, bench chisels, plain blades, that is, and my lathe chisels, and using, like that see-through disc there, getting rounded shapes. And there's some other methods that you can use too, if you can find all these parts and tools for this that seem to have disappeared from the market now. One of my favorites to use is this when I need to sharpen something quickly. Some people will argue with it. It's not a very precise machine, but for certain needs it is. It works really well. And it all depends on, where people's loyalties lay. And they may argue for the Tormac or the Rikon slow grinders. So, depends what you like. And when I want to do something quick, I go to this Worksharp 3000 to do my bench chisels, plane blades. Then you can do in this port here, where you can sharpen the other side of this. Get a really, really good sharp edge out of that. I've got also the Rikon slow grinder, and I've got a Tormac grinder too. So I've got 3 of them that I use. It kind of depends on my need and which one I will use. So they all have their own special needs, their own special purposes, and it works great for me. Well, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you got some inspiration, please give me a like and hit the thumbs up icon. Also, please share it with your family, friends, and fellow craftspersons. And please subscribe by hitting on that little red icon down in the lower right corner, and be sure to hit the bell icon so you won't miss any new videos or posts that may be useful to you. But please leave your comments, and I'd like to hear what you think, your suggestions, and what you may be interested in seeing. Also, please participate in the community posts on my home screen here. Now, we get to share a lot of information there on a lot of topics. For more information and links, see the description below. There's a lot of great information there, so check back often. I also post updates and corrections there. The question to you is, what do you think? What do you want to see? What comments do you have about the tools that I used? What would you change about this? What techniques can you share with us? So, as they say on the Red Green Show, if the ladies don't find you handsome, at least they should find you handy. Thank you.